How many times a day or week should you be posting on social media? Oh yes, it's another frequently asked question for me, and one that, as always, is never that straightforward to answer. And so my starting point is always, it depends. Let's have a look at what it depends on first. Where is your audience online? Just because you think you know your audience doesn't mean you know where they are online. Just because you know their age, their interests, whether they're male, female, what their employment history is, etc., etc. It still takes a bit of research to work out where your audience are online. So that's step one. And two, and this is even more critical, do they want to talk to you online? So just because all your audience are, for example, on Facebook, it doesn't mean that's where they want to have a conversation with you. Take an insurance company, for example. If you're pushing out loads of posts on Facebook about commercial insurance, on the whole, it's not going to do you any favours, because that's not what the average user on Facebook is going to Facebook for. We're going for distraction, catch up with friends, family, read funny articles and memes and that kind of thing. They're not on there for heavy hitting commercial insurance stuff. They're going to be more open to car insurance, holiday insurance, health insurance, the ones that affect them more personally as a human being. Whereas the commercial insurance stuff will fly a lot more on LinkedIn, because that's when people are in business mode, ready to think about business things in a business format. And then I've said it before and I'll say it again, you've got to know what your objectives are for social media and for marketing as a whole, and your objectives overall as a business, as to why you might therefore need to spend time on certain platforms, and certainly not all platforms. So nail down those objectives first before you even look at volume of content that you need to go out on all these different social media sites. Another fundamental thing that you really need to think about is what time and resources you've got to give to your social media efforts. There's no point me saying to you, yeah, you need to be doing 30 tweets a day on Twitter if you've got half an hour a week. It's not going to work. If you've got half an hour a week, you're going to struggle to do one platform well, let alone more than one. So again, make sure you've nailed down what time you've got available and what resources you've got available. It may be that you don't want to post much on some of these platforms, but you do want to advertise on them. And then it's looking at budget. Basically, your time is money. And then obviously you've got money for advertising as well. Again, what's relevant from the numbers I'm about to tell you, it will depend on the kind of business you've got, whether it's B2B, B2C, whether you've got products, whether you've got services, and just what kind of imagery and video and other media you've got available to you as to what will work for your business. First up, Facebook. So Facebook, the golden number really is one a day, ideally. And for some businesses you go, I can't do that much. Even if you can do 5 posts a week, then that's going to be good. What Facebook and all these algorithms like is consistency. So don't put up 7 posts one week, 1 post the next. Use a scheduling tool, schedule evenly the posts that you have got available to you. And like I said, ideally you want 1 per day. 2 is considered high. There's very few brands out there that can be putting out more than 2 posts a day, and the algorithm not working against them at some point. Let's talk Twitter. Twitter's the toughie. Twitter, you're looking at in total 5 to 30 tweets a day. This is the point where most people faint or drop off their seat in shock. Breaking that down, what you're looking at is 5 to 10 pieces of content per day, which may scare you, but if you think about it, you've got a new blog post, you've got archive blog posts that are evergreen and that can be reposted, industry news, facts, tips, advice, a good morning tweet counts as content. So content's not too hard to get to for most businesses. Then you need to look at another same amount, 5 to 10 tweets that are retweets of other people's stuff that's relevant to your audience, not relevant to you, relevant to your audience. Bear that in mind. And ideally when you retweet, you want to add a comment to it so it makes it even more relevant to your audience. So if you're going to retweet it, tell your audience why you've retweeted it and why they should spend their time reading it. And then ideally an endless amount, but at least 5 to 10 tweets a day of actual interaction. So looking through your feed, seeing something that interests you, either in your industry or not, and responding to somebody. That could be saying hello to somebody, that could be saying thanks for that article, I found it really useful. It could just be asking how somebody is, it could be anything, but it's that interaction that shows that you're an engager, not a broadcaster, that the Twitter algorithm will really like. LinkedIn. Now LinkedIn's quite interesting because obviously you've got your personal profile and you've got your company page. And my last video or a couple of videos ago talked about whether you should be using your personal profile more or your company page more. So general advice for a personal profile is 1 post a day. If you're lucky, you can get away with 2. At a bare minimum, you should be doing 3 or 4 posts a week. Again, remember, LinkedIn likes consistency. It likes you to pitch up and show up on a regular basis, but not too regular. If you post over twice a day, your algorithm and therefore the reach of your post is going to tank. So bear that in mind, and make sure if you do put up 2 posts in one day that you spread them out. There's no point putting one hour after your last one. It's an absolute waste of your time on the whole. So 1 a day for personal profiles. For company profiles, on the other hand, recent research seems to show that there's no real penalizing going on from LinkedIn algorithm if you post many posts a day. So you could be putting out 4 posts, 8 posts, 1 every hour for the working hours of the working week, for example, and then a couple each at the weekend. And it doesn't seem like your reach will be impacted at all or penalized in any way. So if you can get yourself an engaging, interesting, content-rich company page going, then more is less. Less is more. No, more is more. More is more. There you go. Got it. So 1 a day for personal profiles, largely unlimited for company pages. So let's talk Instagram. So Instagram is 1, maybe 2 a day on Instagram. Tends to work best. Again, space them out as best you can during the day. Make sure they're hashtagged correctly. There'll be another video on Instagram hashtags shortly, I have no doubt, because I get asked about it a lot. But you're basically just on a basic norm, 1 to 2 a day, every day. Again, it's all about that consistency. So rather you would do 1 a day than 2 a day every other day, if that makes sense. All the research I've read, I'm quite new to my YouTube game, but all the research that I've read and all the clients that I've worked with where we've worked on YouTube together, 1 decent video per week, well edited, will serve you well and will build you an audience over time. Yes, super ideally you'd be doing a lot more than that, but there's very few businesses I've met recently who are willing to invest that much time and resource into that much video production, because it does take time. Trust me, been there, done that, doing it at the moment, and it does take time with the editing, uploading and all the rest of it. So, and finally, I thought I'd mention the new kid on the block that most businesses still aren't on yet, but really should be thinking about, and that's TikTok. So TikTok, 3 is your sweet spot with TikTok. At least 1 a day, ideally 4+ a day, but 3 seems to work really well and doesn't seem to have any negative impact in terms of reach. Beyond 3, you really need to be putting out killer content for TikTok not to start knocking you down. So you're looking for 3 a week, and these TikToks can take you 1 minute to film. They might take you hours, depends on the complexity and how creative you want to get with your TikTok content. But yeah, so that's it. I would love to hear from you if you're using any of the sites I've mentioned today and you're posting at a very different rate to what I've advised and it's working for you. I'd love to know, because like I said, every person and every business is different and there are quirks. So I'd love to know if there's any businesses, industries that are working at a very different rate to what I've just suggested to you below. Any other questions about volume of posting on social media? Drop them in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you've got. If not, till next time.